All right. So, design of plan, bringing value, how to find value and design plans. Okay. I was talking to Bryce earlier today, and we talk quite often about different, just different things as it pertains to how to present, what's the easiest way to convert. And I say easiest as in like easy for the agent to understand, easy for the client to understand. Okay. Um, and because that's the biggest thing, all right, is making sure that everything is understood. All right. Because just because you have information doesn't mean you can disseminate that information. It doesn't mean you can give that information. We got to make sure that you can give the information. So the biggest thing with bringing value is your question asking. Okay. Like there's no, this is lead time. We're going to be very general, you guys. All right. So this is for every lead type. And I'm not going to really get too deep into IUL, all right, because they kind of just tell you what it's different. Okay. You know what I mean? Like it's different. All right. You can design the plan cool, but you underwrite and then decide the plan. With us, over here, size of plan per se is going to be determined on what they tell us about their current situation. If we don't get a good feel of what their current situation of insurance is, whew, that's going to be tough. Because now we're just trying to peek. Now, let me give you an example of what that looks like. Okay. So if they, we have that question and the thing, it's because you have some insurance or that you need some more. Yeah, I got some. I just need a little bit extra. Okay. Jason, I say that to you. What you say? Actually, hold on. Let me pick somebody else. Who's in it? Connor. Let's go. All right. What do you say?
Yeah, I would ask them how much you have and why you think it's not enough.
Uh, well, I don't know if it's not enough, right? Like, okay, I got 20 grand, and I don't know if it's not enough. I just saw y'all's ads, man. I just want to see how much it is to get more.
Right. Yeah. And I say, so I'm assuming it's looking to add a little bit more. Now, are you trying to leave some extra money behind for the kids, or what was your main concern when you filled out the form?
Just to see how much it was, man. I got some, and just if I could get some more, and um, yeah, see if it's affordable. But yeah, I know I need some more.
You know, need some. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of what I would say.
Boom. All right. Cool. Bryce, critique us right there. Critique what we just did.
Well, I'm actually I like what Connor first said when he was like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, so you feel you have some, but you want to look into adding some more. Like why do you feel like you need more? Like what do you feel like gap is basically is what he was asking.
Mm-hmm.
And in your response, Dom, you're kind of beat around the bush a little bit. You're kind of like, I don't know, I just want to see how much it costs. I actually like what Connor did there because what I would do if that's the way that this guy's responding to me, I'm not gonna like get in a kung fu match with him right in the beginning of the call. Like he said he wants more insurance. So okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna figure out how much more he needs and dig deeper later in the call to really find real value aside from just like, I just kind of want to add more. Like
All
we're gonna
right.
find out how much more he needs and build more value of this through questions later. So I don't mind him not like, beating this guy over the head with, hey, exactly what were you thinking right now about why you need insurance at that early on in the script? You know what I mean?
100%. Okay. Now, so you get there. I'm very easygoing. Just want some more. I know I need it. Okay. But I get there. I get to now. I still have to build more value. Okay. And this is where a lot of us get. This is a very generic client.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, but we get to now we're doing the application and things like that. How do we build value with that client? Right. How do we build value based on that? So Connor, now we're in the I'm presenting, I'm looking over numbers. You're going to tell me what I need, right? I got 20 grand already. Talk to me about,
I might,
yeah.
well, like for going through a client worksheet to ask more questions, I might ask, if you have a mortgage or something. And then if they say yes, I'm going to ask how much the mortgage is. That way we can, protect the equity in there, because
Okay.
they're going to most likely say they want to pass it on to their kids. but they're already paying, for their own rent or their own whatever, so they can't really pay for both at the same time. So I would try to fill up that extra insurance they need with maybe that, or they have more debt, then we can try to cover that.
Okay. Bryce, walk us through that place there. So that client, now we get
Yep.
here. What do we do to paint that picture for him so that once we do start the application and do the deal, it's very clear. I want to say this, all right? What we're trying to do here is make sure that we're going to put the odds in our favor. Sometimes you're going to do a lot of the not, I'd say wrong things, but not the best things, and you're still going to close. Okay. But this is going to ensure that you are not getting the BS stuff at the end. Okay. I just, just the lack of value. I want to think about it. The laters, now like all that type of stuff. All right. So Bryce, how do you, when you get there, how do we bring the value since we didn't really have too much early on?
Yeah. So to paint the picture, like when you say get there, we filled out the entire financial inventory. We got everything about their budget. We got everything about their health, but now it's time to start looking at options, right? And we know that they have 20,000 of coverage in place already. So I still like we still go through the same line of questioning in terms of like most people are filling out insurance forms because of final expenses. They're usually the main thing on somebody's mind, right? So I'm always starting there. So Dom, not that you have to have everything like all the way mapped out or set in stone today, but generally speaking, do you know whether you'd want to be buried or cremated?
Yeah, I want to be buried.
Buried. Okay. Um, and this is your let's say your son is your beneficiary
Yes.
for this example. Okay, cool. Okay, gotcha. So you know you want to be buried. Now, have you ever had anybody in your life pass where you've been involved with handling a burial or just seeing what it takes, like financially, to cover the cost of one?
Yeah, I have.
Okay. Who was that?
It was my uncle,
Your
probably like
uncle.
5 years
Cool.
ago.
About 5 years ago. Okay. Well, I'm sorry for your loss. Um, what did that look like? What did it take? Do you remember how much everything cost to have that handled for your uncle?
Yeah, I think it was about 15,000.
15,000. I got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's why I
Okay.
got the 20, that's why I got the 20,000 already.
Got you. Got you.
Yeah.
Just kind of knowing, and from personal experience, it took 15 to take care of everything for your uncle. So you got 20 to be a little bit on the safer side.
Right, right.
Got you. Okay.
And
Makes
now
sense.
I'm thinking, I get some extra.
Right. I got you. Okay. Um, well, look, I mean, I commend you for even, getting
But I
out
don't
in
really
front of
think, but I
that.
don't even know if I really need it though, you know?
Uh-huh. Um, where does your son live?
He lives in Northern California.
Okay, gotcha. And you're down in San Diego. What does he do for work?
He's in the Air Force.
He's in the Air Force. Okay, awesome. Um, what is he up at Travis?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah, that's nearby me. Um, okay. Does he have any kids?
No.
No kids. Gotcha. Okay. Um, so what would that look like? Again, I'm not trying to play the Grim Reaper here, and most likely it won't, but God forbid, what happened if something happened to you yesterday? Like, what would that look like for him today in terms of coming down there and handling all of that, with the burial and everything else?
Well, he got the 20,000 to take care of, burial, and I'm sure there'll be some left over he can use to travel or whatnot. That's about it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Fair to say he'd have to take time off work.
Yep.
Okay. Um, Now your house now, do you rent or do you own it?
I own it.
You own it. Okay. And you said the monthly mortgage payment was 1,200 a month?
Yep.
Okay. Your son does he own a house up here?
Yes, he does.
Okay. What would you want to be done with the house? Like again, God forbid you pass anytime soon, you have that mortgage. Like what would you want um what would you want Cameron to
Um,
do with the house? What do you think we would do with it?
it's the house he grew up in, so he may probably keep it and
Keep it.
rent it out or do something with it.
Got it.
But
Okay.
I want him to have it.
So you want them to hold on to the house. Okay.
Yeah. And he'll just be able to pay the
Okay.
mortgage, right?
Um, I mean, is that anything you've ever dealt with? Have you ever had a family member like with your uncle or parents or anything that have passed that owned a mortgage?
No.
No. Okay. Got it. Um,
But I'm assuming he can just
so,
pay the mortgage.
and if he did, even if he can, he has his mortgage too, right? Do you know how much he pays a month for his mortgage?
I don't.
Okay. But the what I would be concerned about if I were you, what I'm just looking at on paper here, he has his mortgage, and then if you died, if he started paying your mortgage, he's now paying a double mortgage. He's that's two mortgage payments for him to be paying.
All right.
You see that? And so, have you ever looked into, hey, wanting to like give him some help or what it looked like to help him with covering your mortgage in that meantime?
I guess that's why we're talking, right?
That's what it, and I know, and I know you had something in mind when you're like, hey, I need some more, right? And that's what I would be looking at here. Like what my concern would be if I were just talking to you like you were my dad or my uncle, you know what I mean? I deal with this all day, every day, and I see all kinds of situations where it's not just, oh, here's this insurance and everything's all the way taken care of. It's all good. What I'm looking at here is what I would be concerned about if I were you is he's got a job. He would have to take time off work. He'd have to travel down there, and there would be some period of time where he's not only paying his mortgage, but he's also paying your mortgage. So after that 15,000, assuming your funeral, your burial, and everything is only 15,000, that only leaves him 5,000 extra. And based on this situation, he'll probably be in the hole a little bit more than 5,000 to handle all of those things. So I can see why you filled this out. And what I would recommend, what I'd say we look at here is giving him a little bit of cushion on the time off work and the travel, but also giving him some help with those mortgage payments in that meantime, that kind of in between time of him paying his mortgage and paying yours until he is able to either sell one or do something, because there's going to be a time period where he's paying both. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Yo, all right. That was I love that. All right, I was taking some notes as we were talking. Um, it's taking that person from, and hopefully you guys, the reason we did that or what that is, like it doesn't have to be so specific with the scenario. You're gonna have so many clients who say they just want extra insurance. And then you're gonna wonder why you didn't close them when they like put it off. They just put it off. No, I don't really think I need that because we just kind of went from what they have to what do you qualify for and here's how much it is. Because I opened up the gate for you just to run, right? You guys get that, right? There's clients that sometimes they open up the gates for you to run and you need to slow down. Because sometimes running too fast, you don't get the information that's going to allow you to build the value that's not going to allow me to think that I could put this thing on the back burner. See, it went from extra insurance to, he goes, so have you ever thought about having something that pays your mortgage? And then shoot, right when he says that, I go, well, shit, ain't that why we're talking? I guess that's why we're talking then, huh? Because I wasn't even thinking about that. But yep, I guess that's what we need to be doing. This ain't extra no more. I got $300,000 of damn debt. Ain't nothing extra about that. But our clients don't see it that way until we paint the picture. He just painted a picture. Did you guys feel that? Were you intently listening there? Some of it may have sounded boring. Boring is what gets you paid. I'm serious, man. He said, just hold on. So what I'm hearing here, you want to take them from this is just extra and this is just an activity and they're in control to, damn, I need this. I need this. And there ain't no question that I need this. Based on the value in the questions that you ask. Don't want to be paying 2 mortgages. All right. This is a big one. When you have homeowners, use this word. It's a severable contract between you and the bank. Stephen, I don't know if Stephen or Stephen, I'm sorry, brother. Just put in here, all right, which is completely right. Okay. If your name isn't on the note, you don't matter. Okay. Doesn't matter. You'd be like, oh, well, I had the money. Dude, there's probably more equity in the house than what you owe. So the banks, they're going to sniff that out. They're all about it. That the reason they gave you the 30-year mortgage at 72 years old is because they knew you were going to die. But can we educate our clients like that? How many clients do you have in their 60s, 70s with a new mortgage, or they have 20 years left? Come on, laugh with them about it, though. Laugh with them. I'm talking to a client, she's 72 years old, $200,000 left on her house with 22 years left. I go, Miss Mary, you ain't never planning on paying this damn house off, right? Oh, no, honey. Hey, no way. I'll be 98 years old. Okay, so your plan wasn't to pay this whole damn thing off, right? It was just to make sure that your family could stay in the home. Oh, yeah. Because if your plan was to pay it off, you wouldn't have refinanced after being in the house for 13 years and refinance for 30, right? Nope. And you know the bank, they only did that because they know if you don't have the insurance, you're going to default on the loan, your family can't pick it up, and they're going to take the house. Did you know that, right? Oh, I knew there was something up here. So, yeah, I need this insurance, huh? Yeah, you have to have it. Do you see how different the value is there versus me just going about price and they told me what they want and just trying to give them a price? Build the value around their scenario. All right, they have a mortgage. Hey, who else is on that note? Just you? Okay, what that means is like, you know how, when you signed all that document and it said severable like 2,000 times in that contract? Yeah, what's that mean? It means it's severable between you and the bank. You die, bank owns it. All right, you die, bank owns it. Your daughter has money. Now she has power to negotiate. She has no money and just says, my mom left it to me. She has no power. They're going to take the house. So you want your daughter to have power? No power. Power. Now let's get into price, product, all that type of shit. Sorry, excuse me, stuff. All right. But I promise you, they're going to buy in on you and the value proposition before you get into the product. That same client that Bryce just pitched me, who knows if he's going to sell me an IUL, a term, a whole life? He didn't talk about any of that. You guys noticed that, right? He wasn't pitching the product, pitching the value of what a death benefit, hear me loud and clear, of what a death benefit would do for my family. Too many of us try to bring value around a specific policy. Bring value in the death benefit. Okay? Bring value in what the death benefit will do for their family. And paint a picture of how bad it will be if they didn't have it. Like when he said, what would your son do? Man, he had about $15,000 left over, or $15,000, and if I died today, right? Talk to people like that too. Hey, if you died today, yeah, I guess you got about 15 grand, you have some left over. But you're 64, my man. By the time you die, burial is about to be $22,000. Okay? Just so you know. So he may have to add an extra 2,000 by the time you die. Right? And this allows you to have ammo. Now, if your clients are just picking it up, right? They're getting it, they're seeing the value. Like I did, I just said, man, I guess that's why we getting this thing then. Well, say I don't start picking up what you're putting down. Now you got ammo to come back to fire at me. Now you can say, hey, Bryce, remember when you told me this? How jacked up Mary would be if you didn't have this and this and this and this. It's really hard to say, now's not the good time, or can you call me back later, or you know what, I don't know if I really need this. Those are the ones that piss me off the most, to be honest with you guys. The ones that just, I didn't bring the value enough, and they somehow, some way, after freaking 30 minutes on the phone, didn't see value in life insurance. That used to freaking make me so angry at me. Do you guys feel me? Like, dude, like they gotta know it's real. But let's take a step back. Our belief in what life insurance does or will do totally is correlated to the questions that we ask and how interested are we in them. But if you're just selling insurance to sell insurance because the commissions are good, you're going to miss out on a lot. But if you're selling it because the commissions are good, all right, I'm not saying I say the commissions are good only. Commissions are good and you want to help some people and you realize our clientele is very bad at making decisions and they will procrastinate. This finding value, that will never be a uphill battle for you because you're so interested in the people, not the result. Okay? Be both. The result will come when you're interested in the people. And the plan, as you're going to pick the plan, now we're going to get into underwriting and things like that. You know what I mean? Like, well, where do they fall? But if it's whole life, it's just a policy that lasts forever. All right, so let's just stick there on this training because I don't think the plan is about Transamerica or Americo or Mutual. My value proposition with each one of those carriers is exactly the same. Does your value proposition change, Bryce, from carrier to carrier?
No. And that was kind of the whole point of this is like in everything I sell off of when I'm with clients is based off of my job is to help you find the amount that you need. Right? Let's find the minimum amount of coverage you need to make sure your family has at least that. And then, you know, from there, if there's want to look at anything on top of that, that's up to you just to have some additional coverage, you know? And so this is all about, we got to find the need, the minimum amount of insurance. So at least make sure that the needs are covered. And then again, it doesn't really matter. Again, like you said, whether it's IUL, whether it's whole life term, we just need that, what that death benefit is going to do for them. And then their health and budget situation, whatever, will determine the other stuff.
Expose, I wrote down, dude, expose their needs. That's what we're doing here. We're exposing the need. I think sometimes they believe they're solid. Well, actually, check this out. They don't believe they're solid, but their sales, what we were trained to do when we get in sales things is to act like we're all good. You guys got to know this. Like the clients are just acting like they're all good. Because who on their right mind fills out a form for insurance and talks to a stranger on a random phone call if they just want some extra insurance or if everything's all good? If there is a percentage of those people who do that, it's very small. Would you guys have to say, like, I'd say the majority are the ones that we are just like, damn, okay. So I think when we got to know that. We got to know that 8, 9 times out of 10, they're just going to front like they're all good. Just like when I walk in the Lowe's and they go, do you need help? And I go, no, I'm good. And 3 seconds later, I go, hey, where are the doorknobs at? I'm like, fool, you knew walking in you needed a damn doorknob. You knew it. And just happened to me. If you know, like I didn't have a doorknob there. We were building this thing. That was that doorknob right there. And I was like, hey, but I was just like, dude, why do I do that? When I walked in the store, I knew I need a doorknob. Where are the doorknobs? Right. And they asked me, no, I'm good. Our clients, they're just like us. So we can't take it so personal. You know what I mean? We can't take it so personal and lash out on them at the beginning. Like Bryce was like, you know what I mean? It's like, okay, I hear you. Boom. But when we get here, I'm not going to just let that slide. We can't just keep going. We got to bear down at that point in time. All right, cool. Where are we at? What we got going on? And take them from I want more to I need more. See, the agent and the agent here, it's like when people need to make money, that's when they win. So if you're an agent here and you're like, I need this, I take the need agent over the want agent. Now I love want. Want's cool, but how big do you want? Do you want more, or you just want to kind of stay where you are? Need is different. And when we expose the need of the client, which nobody picks up the phone, you may have 1 in 50 that just opens up and is just so open with you at the very beginning. But I promise you, you work on your word tracks, you work on your question asking, you work on developing that doctor-patient relationship to where they feel I can tell you anything. Now we're going to get to the real truth of the problem. Imagine this. All right, Sean, I had this visual. Sean used to always, never drew this thing out, but he used to always say, Dom, imagine that there's a dam, okay? And there's a leak in the dam, okay? And you got to fill the holes. And like the way you fill the holes in the dam is by asking questions. And he goes, and every time you ask a question, you could fill a hole in the dam. All right. And once you fill the dam up, that's your client sold. And I just would always imagine that when I first got on the phone with clients, I had a leaky dam. And I had to ask questions to fill these damn holes so that we could all stop getting so damn wet. Does that make sense? Like legit, that was my visualization of ask a lot of questions. Was this dam? All right. But hopefully that helps and gives you some perspective on this. All right. But anything questions? Bryce, you got anything? Oh, one thing I will say this. Graded policies. I know this goes more presenting, but when you start to find the plan that they do qualify for, anything that they do qualify for is the best thing for them. All right. And practice pitching somebody or talking to somebody, explaining a Marical policy to them, explaining a Corebridge policy to them, explain to them American Amicable policy. Like, how does that work? What does that look like? All right. So I'm going to focus on graded because I think a lot of us are pretty easy to sell the immediate death and talk about it. But I think sometimes we talk about graded and modified, or they apply for something and it gets back. And that's why I don't like to apply for things and then it gets kicked back and then I have to go to you. I want to just keep it open. Okay. But say you do get in that spot, all right? Or anytime you're explaining these 2-year waiting periods, it's, hey, Bryce, so great thing is, all right, great thing is we have somebody to help you out. All right. I'm pretty sure. And a lot of these clients, you guys, they've been declined before. I'm sure they have. Like they've been declined. Ask these questions. So, hey, Bryce, I know you've been working trying to get this insurance. Great thing is we got something for you. All right. Now the great thing is the premium stays the same. It never goes up. All right. You can go from 5,000 up to 40,000. We'll figure out an amount. Okay. Based on your budget and where you are. And the premium never changes. All right. Now, Bryce, the first 2 years of the policy, it's a high interest savings account. Okay. How much interest do you get at the bank right now, Bryce? 1%.
0.01%.
Okay. So, yep. All right, cool. You're going to get 10% in this high high yield savings account. Really? How am I get that? Dude, they give you 10% on your money. All right. 10% in the first 2 years. After 3, 4, 5, all right, it's 100%. All right, 100% of your money is going to go to your family. So first 2 years, 10%. All right, better than putting it in the bank. Yeah, I can't be. All right, cool. They love it. They eat it up. It's not this, oh, you got to wait 2 years. You're in a 2-year wait. I don't say that. It's not 2-year waiting period. You're in a 2-year high yield savings. No confusion, no less than, no, I'm not good enough. People don't want to be sold things that they feel are second tier. And the only reason they feel it's second tier is because the agent and whoever's selling it to them presented it second tier. How do I know that? I did it. I used to be really bad at that. To be really bad. You know, and I started to realize, like, dude, why are they like, and they kind of like the nicest people would turn into like the meanest people because of the way I gassed. I'd say I just hyped some stuff up. And then I had to go back and tell them what they couldn't get. Nobody likes that. Makes sense? So be very specific or intentional with how you're explaining this. So high yield savings. And I got that, you guys, years in. I sold a lot of graded policies, but not with confidence. Okay, not with confidence and not as many as I should. I'd probably, you know, I have a lot of people, they would tell me no. The last time somebody told me no, they wouldn't get it because it was graded was like, shoot, 4 years ago. Does that make sense? Like, it used to happen all the time. Oh, they didn't get it because it has a 2-year waiting period. Yeah, that's because you said you pitched it to them like it was like the worst thing ever. Why should they? You know what I mean? Like, you talk to them as if they should just put money under the mattress. And then you're upset that you didn't close it. So feedback, questions about any of that, Bryce, anything? I know we got a few more minutes here, but that's kind of what I saw today. All right.
I mean, the only thing I'd say on that is they don't know, you know what I mean? They don't have an insurance license or sell insurance. And so when you explain it as like, hey, this is just how it is, then they go, okay, that makes sense. But when you explain it as, like you said, it's less than, you know, like one of the main questions I get asked when I'm selling a permanent plan is like, how long does it take for the coverage to be in effect? This one's right away. Oh, wow. Okay. You know what I mean? So the ones that aren't, just be like, hey, yeah, so for the first 2 years, this is a guaranteed 10% interest savings account. And then after 2 years, that's whenever you die, the 10,000 that we're setting up, that's when that will pay out. And then that's it. That's just, you just say it like, that's just how it is. So for 10,000, it's 100, 50,000 or 20,000, it's 150. You know what I mean? And just that's just how it works. That's how you avoid the pushback of, oh, wait, this has a 2-year wait. You know, they're responding to the way that we're explaining it when you get that.
Huge. It's huge. And God, I remember those days, dude. I remember saying stuff and then seeing the client just deflate. You know what I'm saying? Just seeing them just, you only give yourself one option. You know, give yourself many options by staying open. All right, don't close yourself. My old mentor would tell me, don't get caught peeing in the corner with your pants down. You know what I mean? You know, it's like, dude, just don't corner yourself. All right. And we're in control of our questions.
And that it kind of goes back to, like, I used to run into, you know, somebody that's maybe older or less healthy, getting a lot of pushback about the size of the plan that they can get, you know, and it's because I used to explain it like, all right, Dom, because you're 78 and have diabetes, like, you can't get this $300,000 plan, but what you can get is a $10,000 plan. Like, when you say it like that, of course, you're gonna be like, oh, no, I don't want it. But when you go back to what we were talking about today and you base what you're recommending off of what they need, you're saying, hey, this is what we're going to do. What you need is to make sure that your son has at least 6 months of those mortgage payments covered so that he's not stuck with making double mortgage payments in the meantime. So what you need is 10,000 And then if you want to add on a little bit additional on top of that, we can look at a 15 and 20. Here's how it works. Right. And it's just like it's just a matter of fact, this is how it is. And again, that's how you avoid the pushback of, well, I thought it was this, or actually I wanted this.
And you know what happens to that client, that role play that we just had? If you don't bring that value out and you just tell me, all right, 20,000 is X amount, and it's more than the 20,000 that I'm already paying, right?
Oh yeah.
Like I just got 20 grand 5 years ago. And now you're going to sell me another 20 grand with no value. I'm just telling you, I want more, right? Just want more. Now you're going to sell me 20 grand for 40, 50 bucks more than what I'm paying for my current one. That's why people will say, nah, this doesn't make sense. Nah, I don't think I need this. Because you didn't pull out all the other stuff. Now, Bryce can sell me a $10,000 policy because I know what the 10,000 is going to do. I know the 10 grand, if my mortgage is 12, times that by 6, cool. My son's going to be mortgage payment free for 6 months. He can put the house up. He can get some work done. Makes sense? Now I'm not even comparing my 20 grand to what Bryce just told me. But if I don't separate the two and build value, all they're comparing is what they know versus what you tell them. And now you're screwed. Yes.
A good example of actually what you're just speaking of, Bryce remembers this. That's how Darren sold his first policy on Saturday. Remember that? About the she wanted to get a little extra for her mortgage for her brother in case something happened to her. And then Bryce told her how to say it, ran it through.
What was it? Tell me how that rock.
Well, I'll let Darren can tell it. Darren was on.
Darren?
Yeah.
Wait, what situation? You mean
Saturday?
Saturday?
The first one.
Oh, with her? Oh yeah, she needed extra insurance for her brother. That was pretty much that.
That was it.
I mean, it's not
right, but tell how you framed it though. How you framed it about what that was.
I love it, bro. It was that simple, though. It is that simple. I'm with you, Darren. I'm with you. Okay,
yeah, I mean, she just needed it. It gave him. It gave her a little bit of extra. Well, it gave her brother a little extra room for if she was to die, and he would have to be paying the lease on his home and the mortgage at the same time. So it gave him a little bit of buffer, a little extra money there.
Value.
Yeah.
When value
the second one I saw too was a graded one. It was the same thing. He had 5,000, but the way I worded it to give him the extra 5,000, I gave him a graded Corbridge because he was all banged up. He had a heart failure, and I asked Bryce, and I was like, "Yeah, you gotta grade him." But I told him like, "Yeah, it's a savings account because I look for high yield savings account. You can't find one for 10%, and he knows he's gonna die anyway. So the worst come to worst, he'll get a 10% savings account for 2 years. So that's how I see it."
Dude. Man, this is this business is so much fun. All right. And I love to see men and women like you, Darren, going out there and making this thing happen. All right. What's the biggest surprise for you since you started getting on the phone?
Honestly, how many people are answering?
How many people are answering?
Don't get me wrong, I called them several times. So the list, Bryce gave me a list. I already knew there was all the leads, but you never know when they're ready. So the first round I ran through, it was a two hours on Friday, and it was like the third or fourth lady I called. She needed some insurance, and I went through Saturday. I mean, I got more experience Saturday, but I didn't have any sales on Saturday, and then or Sunday, and then today, right from the gate, I had a couple good sales, and I met the right people.
Let's go. All right. And yo, I'm bonusing you leads, dude. All right. All day today. Anybody who helps a vet out, $100. All right. No post date. All right. No post dates. And I'll give you a reprieve into the end of the month. All right. But anything into the next month, we're not doing that. All right. All right. So you guys, we have our week's training this week is Marcus Moore. All right. Why consistent lead flow matters. It's big, big stuff. Lead flow is cash flow. All right. We talked about some, I believe, very impactful things today, but the engine this thing runs on leads. That's how it runs. All right. So hopefully this hits key points today. We can implement some things, but let's support Marcus on the training. Everybody be on there, take some notes, give some feedback. If somebody, you know, if you learned something on that training today, or if you learned something today, share it in the WhatsApp. You know what I mean? Leave us a voice memo, put it in there. Like, I promise you, more people learn when people are sharing. All right. Like sometimes, like, you notice how folks, you guys are on Instagram and all social, like they have all these little clips of podcasts, right? Little clips, like 15 seconds, 10 seconds. You guys know why they do that? You know how many people would never watch the podcast if they didn't already know some of what was already going on? You know, every Shannon Sharpe podcast I see, I watch it before. I watch 15, 20 seconds of 4 or 5 different pieces before I hop in to see if I really want to do it. Same thing here. Okay. We're the same way. All right. I don't expect everybody to be on everything all the time, really taking it in all the time. Nobody's that way all the damn time. Okay. But if we all share what we're learning and how we're doing, dude, it will ignite that in somebody's life in their future. Make sense? So let's hop on that call today, or that Zoom today. Thank you guys. Bryce, appreciate you. All right. Let's keep rocking, you guys. Good work, Darren, and everybody else rocking their thing.
See you guys.